Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to my channel. This is Kelly Hampton, and if you haven't yet subscribed and you like the content, that would be fabulous. As important, I think, to subscribing is tapping the bell icon so you know when new uploads happen. So today I'd like to share the newly channeled guidance. I guess we could call them predictions or prophecies. Part 1 for 2023, and Archangel Michael is our guide. Some individuals wanted me to look at particular questions that they submitted, so I'll be starting with some of those, and I do hope you find this content useful. So one of the first questions I received was, will Russia pull out of the invasion of the Ukraine? And I'd like to share with everyone what I heard. As it stands presently, this is unlikely due to the fact that the Russian military have been misled in their thinking. This intentional misleading of facts has rooted itself into the minds of those involved. It is my hope that I am seeing this incorrectly. War is a facade of truth, isn't it? It is in direct violation of the laws of sovereignty. Before we examine the remaining questions posed, perhaps an overview would be best. Many minds are realizing that their lives are finite and yet infinite at the same time. The souls that ascended to heaven as a result of the COVID virus and the COVID vaccinations numbers into the millions. Are you aware of this, dear ones? We, the collective of angels, have been helping all of them cross over. Yes, this is indeed part of an angel's job. There are specific angels for this assignment, and they were very busy indeed. I realize that my words about the COVID epidemic are tender. Everything about this subject, this global genocide, is tender. Many souls worldwide are still involved in its wretched grips. Before more is said about the upcoming year, can we bow our heads and pray? Holy Mother and Father, we ask your love and acceptance to bless all those affected by the COVID virus, its propaganda, and its losses. Fill us with an abiding understanding that life continues long after the earth experience. Help us heal our hearts quickly and completely, and let us be of service to humanity. Another question was posed to the Archangel. Is COVID here to stay, or will it quietly fade away into the medical background? And will the culprits of the pandemic be brought to justice? And here's his response. Dear ones, this year period, that would be 2023, which I've been asked to examine, will largely be, or seem to be, a continuation of what you presently know and experience. Changes, more sweeping changes as I see it, will more likely fall in the second half of 2023. Up until then, many corporations will continue their monopolies, many governments will continue their corruption, and many individuals will still experience poverty. It may be easy to lose sight of where Mother Gaia is exactly in her own ascension. She is ready and able to take on more dysfunction of those who live upon her. This is not to say that more light won't be shown onto the global stage. Many of you are noticing it and even involved in bringing injustices to light. Congratulations for those of you who are. We honor you as we honor all. During these first several months, there will be some further uncovering of darkness. Why am I speaking of darkness when I'm asked about COVID? Because darkness created it and darkness spread it. Another question was posed. Will more viruses be created for the harm of mankind? Michael's response, it is likely, unless there is a global awakening. What do I mean by this? I mean that in all places on your planet, from the tiniest indigenous huts to 20-plus room mansions, unless people living in these and all means on your planet say this is enough. Remember, dear ones, your planet is just now entering the age of Aquarius, a very tender time indeed. A long period of personal freedoms, sovereignty, and creativity lie ahead. Great expansions await humanity, but this is a few years off. It is my intention to be a provider of knowledge. Some knowledge may inspire you, and some of it may disappoint you. It is not my intention, however, to disappoint humanity. As some of you may know, I do not sit on the highest councils in the cosmos. Perhaps those on the higher councils have a grand plan for the most joyous nirvana for the first months of 2023. I can only surmise. To respond to the concern and those responsible for the pandemic, which some are calling the plandemic, be brought to justice. This, though I pray for, I cannot see during this time frame. And again, we're talking about the early months of the new year. There are, however, underground bunkers where souls who committed some of the most heinous crimes are housed, trialed, and incarcerated. Perhaps many of you are concerned as well that another round of virus hysteria and infectation will cover your planet. Presently, there are other viruses that are being incubated in nefarious locations, but I do not see any new virus infection, planned or otherwise, crossing the globe. There may be talk of this, yes, but the actual new virus strands similar to COVID are not in my vision. What is in my vision is more of the truth rising up. The first quarter will continue to see a rise in truth seekers as well as in truth itself. If you can imagine a boiling pot, the boiling pot eventually reaches a point of overflowing. This is how I see truth expanding on your planet. Another question. When will divisiveness and hate cease in our world, and especially in the USA? This, my friend, is in God's plan. This transformation of hatred to love. If I say it is in God's plan, is it in your own? Rise up and take peaceful action to stop acts of hatred in its steps. But how do I do this, you may ask? You do it, dear ones, one step at a time, one act at a time. Perhaps some of you do not know where to start. Start at the local level. Get involved. Form your own militias of love. Does that term resonate with you? Militias of love advisors. Every time you turn your heads to acts of violence and hatred and do nothing, you, my friends, are contributing to the problem. For the most recent years, many on earth were waiting for the light races to fix these problems. Well, they are contributing mightily, defeating darkness every day. But I say unto you, as powerful beings of light and love, use love as your defense. Use love in everything you say and do. Give love to all things and do it over and over and over again. Let's continue with another question. Will the war with Ukraine and Syria end soon? The Archangel's response. There are peaceful negotiations going on now. I expect them to continue into the first part of 2023 and beyond. It appears as if peace will come in pieces rather than all at once. He asks us to pray for peace, to pray for the return to normalcy, to pray for the homeless and misplaced. He asks us to serve in all ways that we can. Someone was interested in Michael's insights into what might be coming for the continent of Australia and Australians, and his reply is, during the first quarter of the new year, this continent will be healing. Healing from fires, healing from droughts, healing from misunderstandings, healing their collective consciousness. Healing on a massive scale will cover this land, even more so as the new year continues. The political climate, or rather the political reality that some Australians find oppressive, will undergo changes that will be beneficial to all. The changes will appear to be non-existent at times during the first quarter, but they will be occurring. Did you know, dear ones, that the magnificent lost civilizations such as Atlantis and Coho will rise again? Here's a question that we often get asked, especially in the last, I'd say, 5-10 years, and that is, will the financial system going to totally collapse? And this is what the Archangel said. It will undergo a transformation in different regions of the world. It already is, if you are aware of cryptocurrencies and the like. The financial reset, as many are hoping for, many are fearful of, and every emotion in between, is a very broad and complicated topic, which I will attempt to help you discover, or at least lay a basic foundation for your understanding. Cosmic influences surrounding January, February, and March approximately are such that certain upheavals will likely occur. These upheavals will involve the monetary systems of some countries to their detriment, but not to all. Those countries with the most dense energies will feel the effects first. It is not my intention to name them all. That is the higher councils. Could you say that this is a form that might be seen as punishment? I suppose so. Now, rather than name those densest countries, regions, and be named a blasphemer, let me continue by stating that the word collapse has never been in my energy vocabulary. Buildings collapse, structures change. For many regions in the world, the first quarter will proceed as you have come to know it. Know it during the last 6 months. As many of you are aware, there are people in position who wish to dissolve personal sovereignty and plan to do so by stripping away human rights. They will not be successful on a global scale. They may have minor successes, but they will be short-lived. Change, however, is inevitable in the golden age. Thinking of yourselves as being an infant or in the infant stage may provide a greater understanding in general of the time in which you are living. Another question posed. Will Dr. Death be brought to justice? My friend, are you referring to only one doctor? There are many who in our eyes may go by this name. Awareness will continue to grow during the first quarter of the international damages to human growth. This is so encouraging, for without awareness, there cannot be change. You may hear of some negative forces who try to justify things. More will be revealed in 2023, 24, 25, and 2026. The density of your planet is much higher than it was a year ago, despite the challenges which still exist. Will those who are unaware of all the lies and deceit by those in control find out the truth? Michael said this will be a slow process during the first months of the new year. And one more question for this dialogue. I see someone on a different topic totally. Someone suggested that they have been seeing videos of animals walking around in circles for hours, and they were curious to get some insight into what that was all about. And the Archangel replied, "The animal population has had its own stressors, just as many humans have had. Their habitats have been abused or misused. Some are completely destroyed. Their zest for life in some cases was used up to depletion. The sonic sounds, the radioactivity, the frequencies created by technology are interfering with many species' normal behaviors, normal breeding, normal feeding, migration patterns, and so on. Some breeds are more susceptible to these types of interferences than others. It is very similar to humans. Some humans are more sensitive to light, sound, energies of all types than others. Therefore, some react more than others. This reactivity will continue through 2023. Perhaps in our next dialogue, we should spend more time speaking to the technological poisons of the world and how to thrive among them. In further response to this question, I would state that their echolocation, or maybe it's echolocation, has been flooded with too much energy, and those species found walking in circles are attempting to clean their energy bodies. Amongst them, however, are a smaller proportion of animals who were very elevated in their DNA and are helping the other members to cleanse themselves. These higher vibrating animals may be referred to as the golden ones. So, thank you so much for listening, being part of my channel, and there'll be more questions and more insights coming up very soon. Many blessings to you.